Welcome to The Explainer. So, you know those days where you're just dragging your feet through a Tuesday afternoon, or maybe you're struggling to find the energy to tackle one massive project? Well, you're absolutely in the right place. Today, we're diving into this really fascinating concept from Steve Chandler. It's all about the internal alchemy of joy and motivation. And what we're really exploring here is this huge paradigm shift. Motivation isn't some random lightning strike you just have to sit around waiting for. It's actually something you can generate internally, literally on demand, using your own biology. It's a total game changer for how we operate day to day, so let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this with a really crucial question. Where do you find a natural high? Seriously, think about your answer for a second. Because society deeply conditions us to think that energy, motivation, and excitement are all things that happen to us from the outside, right? Culturally, we think we need, a massive cup of coffee or a thrilling vacation or a big promotion just to feel truly energized. We assume a high is something we have to go out and capture in the wild. But we are going to challenge that assumption completely today, because the reality of where our energy actually comes from is way more accessible, and honestly, it's so much more fascinating. To see just how profound this is, let's look at this really startling observation from William Burroughs. Now, Burroughs was the author of Naked Lunch, and as a lot of people know, he spent years battling some incredibly intense drug addictions. But after he finally recovered, he made this deeply profound and, as he called it, bitterly amusing discovery. He said, "There isn't any feeling you can get on drugs that you can't get without drugs." Wow. Think about the immense weight of that statement, especially coming from someone with his specific background. He realized that the absolute most overwhelming feelings and surges of energy are generated entirely internally. The drugs, they were really just a crude tool to unlock what the body, acting as its own fully stocked pharmacy, was already entirely capable of producing all on its own.
Section 1. The natural high. Activating your biology.
So, if we don't actually need external substances or wild external events to feel these surges, how exactly do we get them? Well, we have to look at the biological reality of how we manually trigger our own biochemical surges. Just think about everyday actions: hugging someone, laughing out loud, singing a song, dancing around, going for a run. Now, these aren't just quaint, feel-good suggestions for a greeting card. These are actual, literal biological triggers. When you do these things, when they're simply having fun, your body chemistry actively changes. You manually hit a switch that floods your entire system with neurotransmitters like dopamine and endorphins. You get these instant, biochemical surges of motivation and energy. You don't have to wait for a good mood to arrive so you can sing or dance. No, you sing or dance to force the good mood to arrive. You are completely in control of the pharmacy inside your own brain. Section 2. The myth of external fun. Stop searching outside.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that now that we understand the biology, we have to unlearn a really bad habit. Usually, we look outside for fun. We tell ourselves, this job is boring, or this task isn't fun, and we just sit back waiting for the environment to entertain us. But relying on the outside world is a completely flawed strategy. The source material makes this incredibly clear. Don't keep trying to go outside yourself searching for something that's fun, because it's not out there anywhere. Instead, we need to tap into our inner chemical creativity. This is the powerful reality that the energy, the fun, and the motivation are generated from within. You don't find fun out in the wild. You create it chemically by how you intentionally choose to engage with the world around you.
Section 3. Universes inside the mind. The ultimate proof. Now, it's one thing to say this internal generation works when you're just doing chores at home, right? But what about when things are truly objectively difficult? For that, we need to look at the ultimate proof at the extreme end of the human spectrum. The author points to the startling accounts of Viktor Frankl. You might know him from his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl survived the absolute unimaginable horrors of the Nazi concentration camps. Yet even in that darkest, most deprived, and horrific external environment, he wrote about how some prisoners were able to create entirely new universes unto themselves inside their own minds. This level of psychological resilience is just incredibly profound. It proves that internal synergy, that ability to generate your own internal reality, absolutely does not rely on your external circumstances being pleasant or easy or even safe. So let's clearly define exactly what we're talking about here. Inner chemical creativity. It is the imaginative ability to access uplifting biochemical surges of motivation, even in the loneliness of a prison cell. Now, that might sound absurd at first, but truly imaginative people can really do this. And the absolutely crucial takeaway for us is this. Think about it for a second. If someone can access this inner chemical creativity in the absolute despair of a prison cell, then you and I can absolutely access it sitting at a boring office desk or facing a tedious Tuesday morning to-do list. The underlying mechanism in the brain, it's exactly the same.
Section 4. The Fun Mandate. Synergy of Heart and Mind.
All right, let's bring the energy back up and talk about how we can actually apply this incredible human ability to our everyday professional and personal lives. The source text gives us a truly beautiful framework. The opportunity for fun is in your own energy system. It is in your synergy of heart and mind. That is exactly where you will find it. And what this means is that there isn't a single task in your day that can't be transformed into something interesting and uplifting. Take something universally dreaded, say organizing a massive spreadsheet. Instead of just suffering through it, you can literally turn that spreadsheet into a puzzle to be cracked. You can time yourself to beat a personal record or blast your favorite upbeat music while you do it. By actively tapping into your own energy system, you manually inject the feeling of fun directly into the process.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact mindset we need to adopt. Fran Tarkenton, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, recommends looking at literally any task you do as fun. And honestly, this makes perfect sense when you consider Tarkenton was a quarterback legendary for scrambling, improvising, and turning broken plays into these incredible highlights. His bold mandate is simply this: if it's not fun, you're not doing it right. Really let that sink in for a moment. He's not saying, hey, only do fun tasks. No, he's saying that if the task you are currently doing isn't fun, well, the flaw isn't in the task. The flaw is actually in your approach. You just haven't activated your internal synergy yet.
Section 5. Hacking your self-motivation, the blueprint.
Okay, now it's time to turn all of these fascinating psychological and biological insights into a concrete, actionable behavioral framework. Here is your chronological commitment to yourself. Step 1. Find your natural high triggers. You basically need to run experiments on yourself. Find out exactly what it does to your mood to walk, run, sing, or even just aggressively get something checked off a list. You have to learn the unique operating manual for your own biology. Step 2. Commit to only doing fun things. Tell yourself that you are simply not interested in doing anything that isn't fun. Just refuse to accept boredom as a default state. And step 3, this is the most important piece, create the fun in any task. Look, if you can't immediately see the fun in something, you have to bring the fun to it. Change your physical posture, turn on some loud music, gamify the work, or just change the scenery. The text makes a massive promise here. Once you deliberately force the task to be fun, you have permanently solved the problem of self-motivation. Think about that. You will never have to wait to feel motivated, ever again.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly empowering thought to end today's explainer. Look at your to-do list for today. If your next task isn't fun, how are you going to create it? What internal alchemy are you going to use to spark that biochemical surge? Remember, the power isn't in the task, it's entirely in you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you take this framework and use it to completely transform how you approach your day. Until next time, keep learning and keep creating that internal energy.